Hello and a warm welcome to a special broadcast on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Neelu Vyas. For the first time in the Indian history, the government of India has decided to honor the women achievers of the country who made a mark in their respective fields for the first time. 112 ladies gathered on one platform to receive the prestigious First Lady Awards by the President of India, Ramnath Kovind. So who are these First Ladies? Some of the broad categories before you: the First Olympian, First Army Woman, First Pilot, First Merchant Navy Captain, First Weightlifter, First Grammy Award winner, First Woman Cardiologist, First Woman Judge, First Missile Project Head, First Paratrooper, and many more. All these alpha women gathered to uphold the spirit of womanhood, and Rajya Sabha TV takes this opportunity to bring before you some of these women extraordinaire. So we have with us some of these women who have been the women of grit and determination. Let me introduce you to them, to you all one by one. We have Ms. Ira Singhal. She is the first differently abled woman who topped the UPSC examinations. Next to her is Sunil Dabas, the first Kabaddi coach of the country. Next to her is Priya Jingan, the first woman cadet of the Indian Army. Next to her is Tanvi Shah, the first woman who won the Grammy Award. And next to her is a woman who doesn't need an introduction, Deepa Malik, the first woman to have won a silver medal at the Paralympic Games. I welcome all of you. It's a real honor to have you on the program. So it's really difficult to express what you people really have gone through and the way you have come forward and have achieved a pedestal. Priya Jingan, the first woman cadet of the Indian Army. Enrolled as Cadet Number 1, Major Priya Jingan became the first woman cadet to join the Indian Army in 1992, an era where people are not used to seeing women in olive green uniform marching along with men cadets. Priya broke stereotypes, made officers more sensitive towards women, and also helped them prescribe standards for women in the army. Major Priya, who's currently working at Lawrence School, Sanawar, is waiting to see the day when women occupy the top posts in the army. Ms. Ira Singhal, she is the first differently abled woman who topped the UPSC examinations. Ira Singhal, the first differently abled woman to top the Civil Services examination in 2014. Deepa Malik, the first woman to have won a silver medal at the Paralympic Games. Deepa Malik, the first Indian woman to win a silver medal at the 2016 Paralympic Games. Paralyzed from the waist down and the mother of 2 daughters, Deepa Malik went on to set records for biking and swimming.
Sport, Deepa Malik picks up the silver.
Is Tanvi Shah the first woman who won the Grammy Award? It was in 2010 when Tanvi Shah won a Grammy Award for the best song written for motion picture or other visual media of the revered song Jai Ho from Slumdog Millionaire. Next to her is Sunil Dabas, the first Kabaddi coach of the country. Sunil Dabas is the first female Kabaddi coach of India. She's coached her team since 2005 to win several international gold medals, including the 2009 Asian Games and the World Cup 2012. Priya, you actually changed the entire landscape, of the army, how they actually looked at women. That letter you wrote in 1992, and when it completely changed the scenario. Can you just describe for the viewers what that moment was like? And I believe that letter is still with you.
It isn't with me anymore.
Okay.
But, you know, when it was happening, when I was doing all that, I didn't know it was so big.
Okay.
I didn't know. It was
no,
just...
but you did know that there are no women in army.
Yes, I knew that. It was... when I was writing a letter to General Rodrigues, I didn't even know who General Rodrigues is. It's only I just saw this advertisement and for the men. And it said that this is the address that you need to write to. So I wrote to him telling him that why men, why not women? And in my mind, I really did not know that I was making a historical moment.
Okay.
It wasn't that big that time. And then when we joined the army, we were a batch of 25. So we all took up the challenge together.
Ira, if I were to ask you, with the kind of physical condition you have, people generally have a perception that the differently abled women, generally, you know, they're considered to be very weak. Some people who are confined to the wheelchair or maybe in a room. Do you think that the perception has really changed? And how have you really actually overcome the challenge?
So in my, the good thing that I had was that as a child, my family never allowed me to feel pity for myself or to consider my disability as something that needed to affect my actions into the world, the way I conducted myself into the world, or the priorities and the goals that were set for me.
Okay.
And there are people who need help, but we also need to realize that just because a person has one disability, that doesn't color their other abilities.
Okay.
And we need to give everybody an opportunity to have those abilities out in the world.
I'm going to listen to you on how your moments were when parallel training you were undergoing along with the men cadets. Why don't you share some moments?
Neela,
How the training process was like?
See, 25 of us, we were very determined. We were the first ones, and at that time there were no different standards for men and women, right? There wasn't anything. It was the same thing you had to do. We were to set the standards.
Right.
Say if we could run 2.5 today, the next batch will have to do that. But if we are not able to do 2.5, we could able to do only 1.5, then they'll have to bring down the standards.
Right.
And we did not want that to happen.
Okay. But when this training process was happening and when you actually got inducted and commissioned, what was the reaction from the men cadets? How were they really welcoming, or were they really thinking that what is a new process we have to undergo? What are the feelings like?
Very mixed, you know, it's a very individual kind of a thing. Some officers were like, you know, they would say, if you're not able to do something, that you have come here to the academy and you are going to earn the same perks, so you bloody well do the same things. Of course, there were some girls who were not able to do everything 100%. We all are like that.
But it was your batch with the help of which Army actually prescribed the standards, how they should behave with the ladies, how ladies should be inducted. Am I right?
Yes, I believe it is true, because before that they had no clue. I mean, they knew how to treat ladies, but they did not know how to treat officers who are ladies.
Yeah. It's a long journey you've had, and now you're at the Sinnar School, Lawrence School at Sinnar.
Yes, I'm at the Lawrence School, Sinnar now.
But where do you really want to see the women in the Army now?
Of course, I'd like to see them heading the helm. See, I think the highest rank we've achieved as a, not counting the medical services, they've reached the colonels now. I'd like to see them as major generals.
Oh.
Why not?
Priya, what do you really have to tell the women? Obviously, now there are so many women in the Army, and you joined the Army at a time when there were actually no women. Now, when you see the journey from 1992 till 2018, how has the journey been, and what do you really have to tell the women?
I'll say that we have to keep this going.
Okay.
We have to make it stronger. We have to prove ourselves, and we're not going to be treated as women officers. Please, this terminology itself, I don't like. Once you're commissioned, you're an officer.
Okay.
So when you're given a task, you do it, and don't use your femininity to avoid that task or find favors.
Wow.
Once you've taken up a job, do it.
Okay. So what does the Grammy Award have to tell the people? What are you going to tell the nation?
Well, all I can say is, like, I agree with every one of them. Like, dream big. You have to dream big. Again, diligence, discipline, dedication, and time management. If you have these four, nothing can stop you, and just keep moving forward, because today, as women, we have to set an example for everyone else.
And Deepa?
I think मैं यही कहना चाहूँगी कि दुनिया आपको उसी नज़र से देखेगी जिस नज़र से आप खुद अपने आप को देखते हैं.
Absolutely.
एक आपके अंदर का जो जज्बा है, अगर आप उसको स्ट्रॉन्ग रखें तो अपने आप रास्ते निकल आते हैं. और छोटी सी 4 लाइनें कहूँगी कि
Absolutely, please go ahead.
ईश्वर पे अगर भरोसा है तो जो किस्मत में लिखा है वो पाओगे.
Wow.
लेकिन अगर खुद पे भरोसा है तो ईश्वर वो लिखेगा जो तुम चाहोगे.
Wow, lovely. I think that's the closing comment of the program, and I must say that these are really infallible and inspiring stories which the viewers would love to listen. And I once again congratulate all of you here and the list of 112 people who are going to win the First Lady Awards. It was a pleasure talking to each one of you. I really thank you, Ira, Sunilji, Priya, Tanvi and Deepa. It was a pleasure to have you on the program. Goodbye and thanks for watching.